Okay, this teaching tip is really an interesting one. I find there is some dancers that really take this on board, and then there's some that are hesitant. So it depends. I think it depends on the group that you have of how powerful this is. I would try to do this with all of the groups, and they might not get where you want to first, but over a couple of years of being taught by you and you expecting this from them, they'll start doing this automatically, and then your creative process will be much faster with them. So what it's all about is letting your students own the routine. So what I have found as a student, and what I've found with teaching a lot of people, is that they have this persona of you as the teacher in their head, and they will make choices and dance the way that you want them to within the routine. And that is good to a certain extent, but it's still dancing for you instead of dancing for themselves. And dancing for someone else compared to you or for your reasons, you will never work as hard. As much as they'd like to work really hard for you, if they feel that it's theirs, that they own it, they will be more authentic. It's not necessarily work ethic. It's more that they'll be authentic. They'll be like, I own this. This is part of me, and I want to share that with the world, instead of what does my teacher want me to do? Where does my teacher want me to stand? How does my teacher want me to smile? Instead of them going, I own this and I want to feel good when I do it. So it's a different kind of thing. So looking at this graph, what you'll see is this is you as the teacher, and this is your students, and this square represents your routine. Okay. And what you will find is that dancers will learn your routine, but with you in it. Yeah. And every thought process, especially when they get on stage and they're going to make those quick decisions, they're going to think of you, and then they're going to push it out to the audience, which is just a step that's really unnecessary. So what you want to do is try talk to them that eventually you're going to step aside and let them take ownership of the routine. Okay. So then what happens is them as a group and as an individual, they're going to make decisions that, like, firstly, they have to understand the routine and what you want. So you got to give them very clear directions, but then eventually you got to give them ownership. And the best way to give them ownership is let them contribute. So even if it's, what do you want to call the routine? Or what sort of story do you want in this routine? What sort of emotions do you want to use in this routine? You don't have to give away like the choreography, or they get to stand wherever they like. You can still have the structure of the routine and be true to your vision. But the more your dancers feel that they're contributing, the more that they'll feel like they own it. And when you have a group of 10 dancers on stage that all feel like they own that routine, it is extremely powerful. Yeah. So this is not a very clear-cut technique, but it is something that I have always used once I was getting to that level where I was happy with the routine, but I believed that there was more. And I felt like I'd lifted every rock and cleaned everything, but it just needed some sort of magic. It needed some sort of chemistry that I couldn't bottle up within myself to give to them. It was really something that they had to do together to make it special. And I've found even through this process is that I've taught the same routine to another group. And once they took ownership of it, that routine completely had a different life to it because of the people that were doing it. And that's really special. That's quite amazing and quite magical. And anyone watching dance wants to feel that it's spontaneous, that it's magical, that it's authentic. So yeah, play around with this idea and see what happens. Let me know.